This is a clip from Surviving the Game 1994. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention. They just cracked the case on this is happening in reality with millionaires and billionaires, where they take homeless people off the streets, take them to this designated island, and they become the prey. Y'all remember this movie with Ice-T? This is a little snip and clip of it, but we're going to get to the real deal Holyfield.
Is a homeless man from Seattle, Washington, who loses his only friend Hank, a fellow homeless man, and his pet dog, on the same day. Dejected, Mason attempts to commit suicide when a soup kitchen worker, Walter Cole, saves him. Cole refers him to businessman Thomas Burns, who kindly offers Mason a job as a hunting guide. Flying to a remote cabin surrounded by hundreds of acres of woods, Mason meets the rest of the hunting party, all of whom paid $50,000 for the privilege of being there. In addition to Burns and Cole, the party includes Doc Hawkins, the founder of The Hunt, and a psychopathic psychiatrist who specializes in psychological assessments, Texas oil man John Griffin, and wealthy executive Derek Wolfe Sr. and his son Derek Wolfe Jr., the latter of whom is at first unaware of the true purposes of the hunt. The following morning, Mason is awakened with a gun in his face by Cole, who explains that the men are not hunting any animals, but rather Mason himself. Mason is given a head start with only the time it takes the others to eat breakfast. Wolfe Jr. is horrified at the thought of killing a man, but is pushed into it by his father. The hunters race off into the forest, but by now Mason has returned to the cabin in search of weapons. He finds none, and instead makes the disgusting discovery of the hunter's trophy room behind a locked door, the preserved heads of the victims of previous hunts. The hunters quickly assume Mason's return to the cabin and go back. Wolfe Sr. enters just as Mason lights up the cabin and engages in a fist fight with Hawkins out back, away from the others. The hunt resumes and Mason begins to use his wits to beat the hunters, luring them with falsely planted lit cigarettes to lead them in the wrong way. Mason sabotages one of their ATVs, causing it to explode, and the explosion rips off most of Cole's lower body, mortally wounding him. The second night sees Wolfe Sr. and Mason fighting one-on-one, with Mason the victor and Burns escaping to the city, knowing that Mason will most likely be searching for him. A fight ensues where Mason beats up Burns and takes his gun, but instead of shooting the evil man, Mason just leaves the gun and walks away. Burns tries to shoot him, but what he doesn't realize is Mason used a tip from his late friend Hank and messed with the barrel on Burns' gun. When Burns tries to kill Mason, the gun backfires and kills Burns instead, and Mason walks off into the night.
That was just a clipping, ladies and gentlemen, but here's the real deal Holyfield here. That they're actually picking up homeless people and using them as a fucking pawn on a chessboard, a sporting game, killing them, unaliving them. Let's go. By the way, the FBI uncovered this information here, ladies and gentlemen. The FBI did.
23 miles off the coast of Georgia. Privately owned,
Georgia,
heavily
y'all.
forested, 37 acres of pristine wilderness, surrounded by Atlantic waters. Beautiful, isolated, perfect. It was called Sanctuary Island, purchased in 2019 by a private consortium, the Apex Society. Membership cost
Apex.
$50 million.
$50 million,
Annual
yo.
dues $5 million. Only 12
There he
members
is.
worldwide. All billionaires, all male.
All billionaires.
All seeking the ultimate experience that unlimited wealth could buy. Where the world's elite find true freedom, the private brochure promised. Shown only to potential members after extensive vetting.
This shit, y'all.
Background checks, financial verification,
Real
psychological
shit, y'all. People
profiling.
be missing, y'all.
Because Apex Society didn't accept just anyone. Only those who understood that some experiences required absolute secrecy, absolute discretion, absolute immunity from consequences. What was that experience? What justified 50 million membership?
50 million
The hunt,
membership.
not for animals, for humans.
Humans.
Every month, Sanctuary Island hosted The Game. 10 to 15 people, homeless individuals, undocumented immigrants, people society had forgotten, were brought to the island, released into the wilderness, given a 48-hour head start. Then the members arrived, with weapons, with tracking equipment, with one goal: hunt humans like prey. Survivors were promised freedom, $100,000. new identities, passage to any country they wanted. But in 4 years of operations, nobody had ever survived. 47 hunts, 632 people brought to the island, 0 survivors.
Damn.
Until Marcus Webb, former Marine, homeless veteran living on the streets of Savannah. Taken to the island in October 2024, released into the
That's
jungle,
recent.
hunted for 48 hours, shot twice, left for dead.
Was
Marcus
recently,
didn't die.
yeah.
He survived. Swam 4 miles through shark-infested waters to the mainland. Stumbled into a Georgia State Trooper station, covered in blood. Delirious, barely alive. They hunt people, he gasped. On an island, rich people. They hunt humans for sport. This is Operation Apex Down. The FBI's infiltration of the most exclusive and evil organization in American history.
Fact.
Because Sanctuary Island wasn't just about hunting humans. It was about power. Proving that wealth could buy permission to do anything, even murder. And when FBI raided that island, they found something that made even hardened agents break down. A trophy room with photographs. 632 faces. All the people who'd been hunted.
We seen that,
All
right?
the people
On
who
surviving the game, right?
Displayed like big game kills. If you support FBI agents who hunt the hunters, hit like right now. Human hunting isn't new. History is filled with examples. Ancient Rome, medieval nobility, modern dictators. The powerful have always found ways to hunt the powerless. But in America in the 21st century, billionaires had created an entire infrastructure for it.
Billionaires.
Legal protections, financial shields, complete immunity. The Apex Society was founded by Richard Blackstone, tech billionaire. Net worth $12 billion. Made his fortune in cybersecurity. Sold his company to a defense contractor for $8 billion in 2018. Retired at 43. Unlimited wealth, unlimited time, and a growing boredom with conventional life. I've experienced everything legal wealth can buy, he told a journalist in a rare interview. Yachts, jets, exotic cars, beautiful women. After a while, it's all the same.
Right.
Billionaires seek new experiences, new challenges, new frontiers. That interview was in 2019, 6 months before he purchased Sanctuary Island. Blackstone recruited 11 other members, each worth at least $10 billion, each seeking something beyond conventional wealth experiences.
Trump, you see this?
The membership was international. 3 Americans, 2 Russians, 2 Saudis, 1 Chinese, 1 British, 1 German, 1 French.
German. That's
We
Hitler in
created
the
a
man.
sanctuary, Blackstone explained, during a secret member meeting recorded by FBI surveillance years later. A place where laws don't exist.
Trump, you see
Where
this?
society's restrictions don't apply. Where we can experience pure freedom.
They said
Freedom
billionaires.
to hunt, to kill. To prove we're apex predators, not just economically, but physically primal. The infrastructure required was extensive. Private
We
island
exposing some
purchase,
shit to the
$47
peoples
million.
today.
Construction of facilities, $23 million.
That's where you're missing
Security
loved one at.
systems, $8
That
million.
you've been looking for.
Staffing, $12 million.
That island that y'all never find.
Transportation logistics, $6 million annually. Legal protections, $15 million in offshore accounts and political contributions. Total investment, over $100 million to create a hunting preserve for humans. Should wealthy individuals who hunt humans face public execution? Comment why or end. The logistics of acquiring prey was sophisticated. Apex Society employed recruiters, people who identified vulnerable targets, homeless individuals, addicts, undocumented immigrants, runaways, people without families, without advocates, without anyone who'd notice if they disappeared. We're offering an opportunity, recruiters would say. A private island resort needs workers. 2 weeks work, $5,000 cash, no questions asked, transportation provided, meals included, easy money. Desperate people accepted.
Right.
Boarded private boats.
Damn.
Traveled to Sanctuary Island expecting work. Instead, they were imprisoned, held in underground facilities. Then, on hunt day, released into the jungle. You have 48 hours, the Apex members would announce. run, hide, survive. If you make it 48 hours without being caught, you win. $100,000, freedom, your choice of destination. But if we catch you, nobody ever made it 48 hours. The members had thermal imaging, night vision, drones, trained tracking dogs,
Damn.
weapons ranging from bows to rifles,
How the
every
fuck you gonna beat
technological
that,
advantage,
yeah?
every resource. The prey had nothing, not even shoes sometimes. It's not sporting, one member complained during a recorded conversation. They have no chance, no
Right.
real fight. That's the point, Blackstone replied. This isn't about fair competition, it's about demonstrating dominance. They're beneath us, economically, socially, evolutionarily. We're proving that through action, through hunt. The hunts lasted 48 hours. Members rotated, some hunted actively, others watched via drone feeds, placing bets on who'd catch which prey, how long each person would survive. Method of death. Johnson caught his target with a bow at 37 hours, one member reported during a hunt debrief. Clean shot, through the heart, beautiful. Mine tried to swim, another said. Made it about 200 yards. Alligator got him before I could.
Damn.
Does that count as my kill? They discussed human death
This
like
shit was a
hunters
game,
discussing
right?
deer. Clinical, detached, amused. After each hunt, bodies were disposed of, weighted, dropped in the Atlantic, or buried deep in the island's interior.
See what I'm saying?
Crime scene evidence eliminated. DNA destroyed. Nothing remained except photographs, added to the trophy room. 632 photographs, 632 lives, erased for sport. Then Marcus Webb survived, and everything changed.
Marcus Webb.
Marcus was a Marine, 3 tours in Afghanistan, expert in evasion and survival, honorably discharged in 2018, but PTSD and injuries made civilian life difficult. Lost his job, couldn't afford rent, ended up homeless in Savannah. When recruiters approached him, he was desperate. $5,000 would change his life. Get him back on his feet. He accepted. The boat ride to Sanctuary Island took 3 hours. Marcus noticed security, armed guards, military-grade equipment. This isn't a resort, he realized. This is something else. When they released him into the jungle, gave him the rules, Marcus understood immediately. This is a hunting preserve, I'm the prey. But Marcus was different from previous victims. He was trained, combat experienced, survival expert. The Apex members had hunted homeless addicts and terrified immigrants. They'd never hunted a Marine who'd survived Taliban ambushes. The first member who tracked Marcus got a surprise. Marcus had set traps, primitive but effective. The member stepped in a pit, broke his ankle, screamed. Marcus took his weapon, his gear, his communication device. Man down, the member radioed. Target is armed. He's fighting back. Blackstone's response was swift. Kill him, now. Use lethal force. This can't get out of control. But Marcus was already moving, using Marine tactics, cover and concealment, ambush positions. He took down a second member, knocked him unconscious, stripped his gear. He's ex-military, someone realized from the command center. We grabbed a trained soldier. This changes everything. For 48 hours, Marcus evaded, fought, survived. He was shot twice, shoulder and leg, but kept moving, kept fighting. On hour 47, realizing he'd never escape the island alive, too many pursuers, too many resources, Marcus did something desperate. He swam 4 miles through Atlantic waters, through sharks and currents, bleeding, exhausted, nearly dying. But Marines don't quit. He reached the mainland, collapsed on a beach. A morning jogger found him, called 911. Georgia State troopers responded. Marcus told them everything. The island, the hunts, the dead, everything. They called FBI. How long does a typical FBI investigation of an isolated private island take? A, 30 seconds. B, 3 minutes. C, 10 minutes. Answer at the end. FBI Special Agent Jennifer Hayes took Marcus's statement. Initially skeptical, His story seemed impossible. Billionaires hunting humans on a private island? It sounded like a movie plot. But Marcus provided details, coordinates, names he'd overheard, equipment he'd seen, and most critically, a communication device he'd taken from one of the members. Encrypted. But FBI cyber teams cracked it. The device revealed everything. Communications between members, hunt schedules, financial transactions, photos, videos, proof. This is real, Hayes told her supervisor. We have a hunting preserve for humans operating off the Georgia coast, and we need to shut it down before the next hunt. FBI began surveillance, satellite imagery, drone reconnaissance, monitoring communications. They identified the next hunt schedule. November 23rd, 6 days away. 12 new victims already collected, being held on the island. We can't wait, Hayes decided. Those 12 people will die if we don't act. We raid before hunt day, rescue the prisoners, arrest every member on the island. But raiding a private island 23 miles offshore required coordination. FBI, Coast Guard, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, ATF, federal marshals, even Navy SEALs on standby in case military support was needed. This is a fortress, the tactical coordinator reported. Armed security, surveillance systems, defensive positions. They'll see us coming. Could execute prisoners before we land. Then we don't give them time to react, Hayes replied. Overwhelming force, speed, simultaneous breaches. Hit them so fast they can't respond. The assault plan involved multiple teams. Coast Guard cutters approaching from sea. Helicopters with FBI HRT operators landing directly on the island. Amphibious craft carrying tactical teams to multiple beach points. Coordinated strike. Total surprise. November 21st, 4:47 a.m. Operation Apex Down launched. The Coast Guard cutters cut through dark waters. Silent running, no lights. Approaching Sanctuary Island from 3 directions. On deck, FBI HRT operators prepared, checked weapons, reviewed maps. This wasn't a normal raid. This was taking down billionaires who'd murdered hundreds. Helicopters lifted off from Hunter Army Airfield, flying low, using terrain masking, approaching from the mainland, loaded with tactical operators, breaching equipment, medical teams for rescued prisoners. At 5:23 a.m., all units reached assault positions, surrounding the island, waiting for the signal. All units execute, execute, execute. Helicopters roared in. Fast ropes dropped. HRT operators descended, landing on the island's main facility. Flashbangs detonated. FBI! FBI! Everyone on the ground! Coast Guard teams hit the beaches, amphibious craft unloading tactical operators, sweeping inland, securing perimeter, cutting off escape routes. The island's security tried to respond, armed guards rushing toward the commotion. But they were private security, not military, not trained for combat against federal tactical teams. They surrendered quickly, outgunned, outmatched. Inside the main facility, FBI found the members, 7 of them, present for the upcoming hunt, sleeping in luxury accommodations, woken by flashbangs and shouting. Richard Blackstone, FBI, you're under arrest. Blackstone in silk pajamas looked confused, then angry. Do you know who I am? I'm worth $12 billion. You can't just... We can, Agent Hayes interrupted. And we did. You're under arrest for murder, human trafficking, conspiracy, and a list of charges so long it'll take an hour to read them all. The other members tried similar tactics. Threatening lawsuits, political connections, immunity. None of it mattered. FBI had evidence, recordings, photos, bodies, nothing money could fix. In the underground holding facility, FBI found the 12 prisoners, scheduled to be released for the hunt in 2 days. Men and women, ages 22 to 56. All terrified, all expecting to die. FBI, you're safe. We're here to rescue you. Some prisoners collapsed, others cried. One man, holding his daughter who'd been taken with him, just kept repeating, "We're alive, we're alive, we're alive." Medical teams treated them. dehydration, malnutrition, psychological trauma, but alive. All 12. Saved hours before they would have been hunted. Then FBI found the trophy room, and agents who'd seen war zones, crime scenes, and atrocities broke down. Cried. Raged. 632 photographs, arranged on walls, each with a date, location on island where the person was killed, method of death, and the member who'd made the kill. Documented, cataloged, celebrated. They kept score, one agent said, voice shaking. Like it was a game, like those were animals, not people. The bodies were harder to find. Some in the Atlantic, weighted, decomposed, unrecoverable. But 47 graves were found on the island, buried in remote areas, shallow graves. Remains in various states of decomposition.
So what happened to Richard
Forensic
Blackwell?
teams began the grim work. Identification.
Blackstone, I'm sorry,
DNA
Richard Blackstone.
analysis.
What happened to him?
Giving names back to victims, notifying families who thought their loved ones were just missing, now knowing they'd been murdered for sport. If you believe billionaire killers deserve no mercy, type SWAT signal. The arrest totaled 19 people. 7 Apex Society members present on the island, 12 security and support staff, all charged with conspiracy to commit murder, facilitation of murder, human trafficking, dozens of other charges. Richard Blackstone tried to negotiate. I'll pay compensation to families, $1 million per victim, $632 million. Make this go away. You can't buy your way out of this, FBI director told him. This isn't a civil suit. This is federal murder charges, multiple life sentences. Your money means nothing here. The 5 members not on the island during the raid were tracked down. International manhunt, 2 in Russia, 2 in Saudi Arabia, 1 in Monaco. Extradition requests filed.
Foreigners.
International pressure applied. Russia and Saudi Arabia refused extradition, protected their citizens. But those 2 Russian members and 2 Saudi members faced international arrest warrants. Confined to their countries, unable to travel, prisoners in their own nations. The Monaco member was arrested, extradited to the United States, joined the others facing trial. The legal proceedings took 18 months to prepare. Federal prosecutors built cases against each defendant. 632 counts of murder, 632 counts of kidnapping, 632 counts of conspiracy.
And Richard Blackstone
plus
got
human
off?
trafficking, racketeering, weapons violations, and more. The trials were separate but coordinated, each member facing individual proceedings. Some tried to cooperate, testified against others in exchange for leniency. Some fought, maintained innocence, claimed they thought the hunts were staged. Theatrical, not real murders. The evidence destroyed those defenses. Videos, photos, recorded conversations. DNA from weapons, ballistics matching bullets and recovered remains to guns owned by members. Richard Blackstone's trial was first, most prominent, most covered by media. He maintained he was innocent until the prosecution played a video. Blackstone on Sanctuary Island, standing over a wounded woman. She was begging, pleading. Please, I have children. Please. Blackstone aimed a rifle. You're prey. Prey doesn't bargain. He fired.
Wow.
The courtroom went silent. Blackstone's lawyer had no response. The jury deliberated for 43 minutes. Guilty on all 184 counts attributed to him. 184 people he'd personally killed or participated in killing over 4 years. Sentencing, death penalty. Federal execution. First billionaire in American history sentenced to death for serial murder. You hunted humans for entertainment, the judge said. You treated human life as worthless, as sport. You are a predator of the worst kind. Your wealth won't save you. Your status won't save you. Justice will be served. The other members faced similar trials, similar verdicts. 8 received death sentences. 3 received multiple life sentences without parole. All assets seized. Billions of dollars forfeited to Victim Compensation Fund. The 12 security and support staff received lighter sentences, 10 to 30 years. Some had cooperated, testified, helped investigators understand the operation's logistics. They weren't members, weren't hunters, just employees who'd enabled evil. Marcus Webb, the Marine who survived, testified at multiple trials, described the hunts, the weapons, the tactics, the members' behavior. His testimony was crucial, corroborated evidence, provided survivor perspective. "I survived because I'm trained," he told one jury. "Because I'm a Marine, but the other 632 people were. They were homeless, immigrants, addicts, people society ignored. These men hunted them because they thought nobody cared, but somebody did care. FBI cared, America cared, and now these predators face justice." After the trials, Marcus received full compensation: medical care for his injuries, PTSD treatment, housing assistance. He rebuilt his life, became an advocate for homeless veterans, speaks at events, tells his story. "I was hunted like an animal," he says, "but I survived, and I made sure those monsters couldn't hunt anyone else. That's my victory, not just surviving, but stopping them." The 12 prisoners rescued from the island also received compensation, support services, new identities for those who wanted them. All survived physically. Psychological recovery took years, some still struggle, but all are alive, all are free. Sanctuary Island was seized, federal property. The facilities demolished, the trophy room destroyed. The island designated a memorial, names of all 632 victims engraved on a monument. Accessible only by authorized vote. A place for families to visit. Mourn, remember. Apex Society's financial network was dismantled. Shell companies exposed. Offshore accounts seized. Political contributions traced. Politicians who'd received money faced investigations. Some returned funds, others faced ethics charges. The scandal reached everywhere: tech industry, finance, international business. The revelation that billionaires had formed a human hunting club shook public trust in wealth. If they can do this, what else are they hiding? Became a common question. Here's the answer. Most FBI investigations of isolated private islands take approximately 10 minutes per building once assault teams land. Operation Apex Down took 47 minutes to fully secure Sanctuary Island due to the facility's size, the underground prisoner complex, and the need to carefully clear the dense jungle where members might have fled. Every minute was necessary to ensure no member escaped and no prisoners were harmed in the chaos. Think about that. 47 minutes, clearing 37 acres, multiple buildings, underground facilities, jungle terrain, all while protecting 12 terrified prisoners and apprehending billionaire murderers. Perfect execution despite the complexity. Could you lead that raid? Would you trust your team across that much terrain? 3 questions. Should billionaires convicted of hunting humans face public execution to send a message? Do you believe other hunting preserves exist that haven't been discovered yet? If you were offered $5,000 for 2 weeks' work on a private island, would you investigate first or trust the offer? Hit like if you stand with Marcus Webb, the Marine who refused to be prey and became a hunter of the hunters. With Agent Hayes and the teams who raided at dawn to save 12 lives. With every victim whose name is now engraved on Sanctuary Island's memorial. Subscribe to SWAT Signal, where we expose the evil hidden behind billions. Where we prove that wealth doesn't buy immunity from justice. Where we honor the agents who hunt the most dangerous predators, the ones who think money makes them untouchable. When billionaires hunt humans, SWAT Signal hunts billionaires. Tactical precision, zero tolerance. SWAT Signal. Shield or silence, which side are you on? Richard Blackstone is on death row now, waiting for execution. His $12 billion couldn't save him. His political connections couldn't save him. His lawyers couldn't save him. He hunted 184 humans for sport. Now he waits to die. And 632 victims rest easier knowing their killer faces justice. Marcus Webb lives free. The 12 rescued prisoners live free. And and Sanctuary Island stands empty. A memorial to the dead. A warning to the powerful. Hunt humans and America will hunt you. The signal went out. 23 miles offshore, on an island of death, and 12 prisoners came home alive. Because one Marine refused to die, and because FBI refused to let billionaires play God.